It began on a night soaked with rain in the back streets of Lagos, under flickering lights and angry clouds. Three shadows ran, fast, reckless, desperate. Behind them, vengeance chased in bare feet and bathroom slippers. These were not policemen, not even soldiers. They were sons of the street, fed up, fired up. And at the front of that pack was him, Tobechukwu. They called him Fire Hand. But tonight, that fire would meet the rain, or maybe ignite something far worse. In the quiet village of Umuocha, nestled between hills and red earth roads, lived a boy named Tobechukwu, fondly called Tobe for short. From as early as age 5, there was something disturbingly different about him. While other children played with pebbles and sticks, Tobechukwu's fingers always found their way into hidden pockets, cupboards, and locked drawers. His mother, Mama Ijeoma, first noticed the signs when raw meat meant for stew would vanish before her eyes, only to be found days later, rotten beneath Tobechukwu's bed. At first, they thought it was a childish mischief. His father, a retired palm wine tapper, resorted to beatings. Pastors were called, prophets were invited, fast upon fast, oil anointings, early morning prayers. Nothing could stop the fire in Tobechukwu's blood that pulled him towards stealing. His eyes glittered when he saw what wasn't his, and every time he took something, a strange calm would wash over him. His parents wept in secret, ashamed. The village elders warned that something spiritually foul had gripped the boy, but no one could tell how or why. Still, he kept stealing and laughing about it. As Tobe grew older, his crimes matured with him. By the time he reached JSS 1, he had already mastered the art of deception. He stole from classmates, teachers, even broke into the principal's office once, stealing phones, exam scripts, and petty cash. His expulsion from school came swiftly, but rather than breaking him, it fueled him. At 13, he recruited 2 other restless boys, DK and Boma, and formed a gang they jokingly called the Red Eyes. They broke into local kiosks at night, raided yam barns, and extorted from traders at the weekly market. They used slings and knives with precision, and if anyone dared speak up, beatings followed. It wasn't long before fear replaced shame in his parents' hearts. Tobe no longer answered to anyone. His siblings stopped talking to him, sleeping with one eye open. Even Mama Ijeoma now kept her savings tucked in her wrapper wherever she went. The village knew Tobe had turned into a curse. By 16, Tobe was a full-blown terror. His gang now had 6 members, including one older boy who had escaped from juvenile prison. They carried locally made pistols and machetes, which they got from a corrupt police sergeant who admired Tobe's guts. He offered protection and weapons in exchange for small cuts from their loot. Tobe now strutted around the village like a king. No wedding was safe. No shop was secure. He once slapped a catechist during evening prayers for refusing to hand over the offering box. His parents, now worn out and broken, avoided community meetings. Na dem born am, people whispered. See wetin dem raise. Children were told stories of Tobe the Fire Hand as a cautionary tale. Still, he kept rising, untouched, unchallenged. At 21, Tobe became restless. Umuocha was no longer big enough to contain the fire that burned inside him. The streets were too familiar, the fear in people's eyes too satisfying, but too predictable. He yearned for something bigger, something more dangerous, more exciting. His friend Tunde, who had long moved to Lagos and built a name in the underworld, told him, "Bro, come to Lagos. Real money day here." And so he did. With two of his most loyal gang members, he boarded a night bus to Lagos, carrying only a small bag of clothes, a pocket knife, and burning ambition. They settled in a dirty slum under the Third Mainland Bridge, where rodents roamed like landlords, and survival depended on ruthlessness. It was perfect. Life in Lagos was different, but Tobe adapted quickly. Tunde introduced him to the real game: house raids, traffic robbery, one chance scams. Tobe had a quick mind, a cruel heart, and a fearless soul. He became a leader again, and within months had built a small gang that raided homes in Lekki, Ikeja, and Ajah. They moved like ghosts, silent, efficient, and gone before anyone could react. They had lookouts in Okadas, policemen on their payroll, and informants in estates. People began to whisper about that gang that no one ever sees but always feels. Tobe thrived, but with every success, he grew more reckless. He didn't just steal anymore, he destroyed, insulted, and desecrated. He wanted people to remember him with fear, and they did. It was a rainy Thursday when Tobe and his boys targeted the Abule Okuta axis of Lagos. The streets were packed like never sleep. Their target was a mini estate of newly built bungalows occupied by middle-class civil servants. The job was meant to be clean: sneak in, steal, vanish. But that night, something shifted. As they scaled the black wall of one compound, a broken glass bottle caught Tobe's hand. Blood dripped onto the wet tiles. A dog barked. A child screamed. The woman of the house, awake to feed her newborn, saw masked figures through the window and raised an alarm. But it was too late. The gang had already busted, threatening the family at gunpoint, looting phones, jewelry, and a bundle of dollars stored under the mattress. But they didn't know that the estate had quietly organized a vigilante group, young men armed with machetes, whistles, and unshakable rage, tired of being preyed upon. As Tobe and his gang fled the compound, the alarm bell rang. Three shrill clangs on an iron pole. The chase had begun. Tobe ran like the wind, rain splashing in his eyes, bag slung over his shoulder, blood still dripping from his palm. Behind him, angry shouts filled the air. "Catch them! Thieves! They don't come again!" He turned left into an alley, then right, then bolted over a ditch. But just as he landed on a cracked pavement, one leg crashed through a broken gutter slab. He screamed. Pain shot through his ankle as he twisted violently. He was stuck. He looked back. His boys were still running. He screamed for help. "Tunde! Boma! No leave me!" But they were gone. The shadows swallowed them. The mob was seconds away. Tobe struggled, yanked his leg, screamed in agony. But it was over. The mob caught up, clubs and sticks in hand, faces contorted in fury. They descended on him, not like humans seeking justice, but like a storm long denied vengeance. The beating was brutal. Blows rained down without mercy. Someone hit him with a plank. Another bashed a stone against his ribs. He coughed blood, pleaded, "Abeg, I no go do am again." But his voice was lost beneath the roar of hate. Someone shouted, "Now this one wey rob my mama house last month." Another yelled, "He make my papa die of heart attack." Then came the chilling suggestion, "Tie a day for backyard." And just like that, judgment was passed. The old grim ritual of jungle justice had begun. A tire was fetched and hung around his neck. Petrol followed, his body soaked and trembling, sagged. His eyes were wide, not with fear, but with dawning clarity. For the first time in his life, Tobe was fully awake. As the matches were struck, his mind traveled. He saw his father, stooped by age, holding a cane with shaking hands. He remembered his mother's voice calling him "Nam" after a beating. He saw his little sister crying silently the day he broke her piggy bank to buy cigarettes. He saw Umuocha, the dusty paths, the mango tree where he used to steal fruits. the look of disappointment on the catechist's face. He wept. "Oh God, what did I do myself?" The crowd didn't pause. The first flicker of flame danced against the tire. He cried out, "Tell them! Tell my mama! Tell my papa! Say I don't sorry. Make them forgive me, I beg." His screams tore through the street. Among the gathering crowd, someone gasped. A young man named Anayo, once from Umuocha, now working in Lagos, had stopped when he heard the commotion. Pushed by curiosity, he moved closer and froze. "Chineke! Tobe!" The terror of their youth. The thief who once broke his arm in a market fight now lay soaked in blood, tire strapped around his neck. Tobechukwu locked eyes with him. "Anayo, tell them. Tell my mama say I no be devil. I just lost." But as Anayo tried to intervene, a blow nearly struck him. "Now your brother, you go join am." They dragged him back. "You no go spoil this justice." Anayo wept, helpless. In that moment, the matches dropped. Flames whooshed upward. The fire beat deep. Tobe screamed, a sound no mother should ever hear from her child. He thrashed, then stilled, then thrashed again. His mind was now beyond pain. All he saw was Mama Ijoma. Her face appeared like a spirit among the flames, crying, lips moving in a silent prayer. And then the real Mama Ijoma emerged in his mind, the way she looked the day she begged the prophet to take him for deliverance. "E no work, Mama. I try." His lips moved, but sound no longer came. His heart raced and slowed. The last thing he saw, through blistered eyelids, was her face again. Tears, regret, mercy too late. When the police finally arrived, the crowd had dispersed. What remained was a body blackened beyond recognition, and the lingering stench of burnt rubber and flesh. But in one corner, a young man sat on the ground, still shaking. Anayo, he muttered Tobe's full name to the officers. "From Umuocha." He asked me to tell his family. He said he was sorry. The officers sighed. Another one gone. Another soul lost to rage and ruin. It was a rainy Saturday when the news reached Umuocha. A keke rider who had seen the viral video came to tell the family. Mama Ijoma collapsed. The father went silent, walked out into the rain, and stood for hours under the mango tree. The villagers gathered, half in shock, half in murmured relief. "It don't end," someone whispered. But it hadn't. The pain remained. They never retrieved his body. The police buried it in a mass grave. But in Umuocha, Mama Ijoma placed a small cross behind their house, planting flowers beside it. Every morning she sat before it, whispering, "I forgive you, Lam. You be my son. But this world..." She never finished that sentence. Children now walk past that grave with caution. The catechist tells Tobe's story at every youth gathering. Your gift, if not tamed, becomes a curse, he warns. And so, the story of Tobechukwu the Fire Hand lives on, not in power, but in pain, reminding every heart that sometimes the fire in our hands is not to warm the world, but to destroy everything we love, unless someone saves us in time. Moral of the story: no child is born evil, but every unchecked act, no matter how small, can grow into a wildfire when left ignored. Tobechukwu's fall was not sudden. It was a long path paved by choices, hardened by pride, and fueled by silence, fear, and neglect. His story teaches us that discipline must come early, not only with force, but with wisdom, love, and guidance. A community that fears one of its own has already surrendered its future. Corruption, whether in the home, school, or police, only multiplies destruction. The cry for help doesn't always come with words. Sometimes it comes through rebellion. Redemption, though possible, may come too late if one waits until the fire is already burning. Above all, this is a warning. When we turn a blind eye to evil in its early form, we may be forced to confront it when it has grown too large to control. The fire that could have been quenched in childhood became the inferno that consumed him and nearly scorched everyone else. Thanks for watching. Please do remember to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for more content like this. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Bye.